Earlier this month, it was announced that Blue Sky Studios will be shutting down. The news was somewhat shocking to quite a few people in the cartoon community since it's only been a few years since Disney bought 20th Century Fox, the parent company of Blue Sky, and have now decided to shut down the company that they've only owned for a short time. Now, I didn't have a very strong reaction to this news when it came out since I'm not that into Blue Sky. While I have liked a few of their films, I don't have the same affinity for them as I do for a company like Nickelodeon, so I wasn't too upset when I heard this news. Though, I do sympathize with those who are fans of the company or their filmography and are upset at this. However, one thing I noticed when this news broke were a couple posts on Twitter, people talking about how there aren't enough animation studios, and having only a few prominent studios hinders creativity. And this actually got me thinking about the question of how people feel about the way the economy should be run versus how they feel about the way businesses should be run. I very briefly mentioned my thoughts on this in the live stream I was on with No Parking Barry and Twisted Dan's. There, I said that if you're a complete free market, laissez-faire capitalist, you're more likely to excuse or defend bad business decisions, like a TV network screwing over their shows, and think that businesses should be run however the executives want to be run without interference. Meanwhile, if you're more left-leaning when it comes to economics, you're more likely to say that businesses should have standards and not do certain bad business decisions, and value the product they're producing more than the profit. Now, before I get into exactly why I believe this is the case, let me just say that I am not an economist. I've never actually studied economics or business, and I'm only familiar with the very basics of different economic systems, so it's possible that I'm completely unqualified to speak on this and I'm actually misinformed. That being said, though, I'm fairly confident there is a correlation between how people believe the economy should be run and their reactions to poor business decisions. I'll try to explain this as best I can here, but of course you're free to disagree with me. If you've studied economics or the process of running a business yourself, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below and tell me if I'm on the nose or not. Okay, with that being said, let me explain my thoughts here. If you look at almost any market, be it film studios, technology companies, video game companies, music labels, or even retail stores, one thing you'll notice is that there are only a handful of them dominating the market. Look at film studios. How many major film studios can you name? Universal Pictures, Sony Pictures, Paramount Pictures, Warner Bros. Pictures, Walt Disney Pictures and all its subsidiaries, and maybe a few others. But honestly, those 5 film studios I just mentioned make up a good chunk of all theatrically released films. Those 5 studios dominate the film industry, and any smaller film studios are pretty much crushed by that competition. This holds true just about any market. Are there any video game companies that are serious competition to Nintendo? Are there any technology companies that can stand up to Microsoft, Apple, or Android? No. You can count on a single hand how many companies or corporations share a majority of any market. This is exactly how a capitalist free market system works. There's only a few companies that dominate the market. Companies compete to become the biggest, and whichever becomes the biggest gets the most profit, and companies that can't keep up with the competition either get sold off or go out of business. This is Capitalism 101. The free market rewards the companies that found success first and are already currently successful as it is. While there may be an occasional company that can spring in to find some minor success, it usually doesn't last because, again, the free market rewards the most successful, and the most successful end up being a small handful of companies in a certain market. Now, relating this back to animation studios, this is the exact same reason why there aren't very many animation studios. You want to know why the animation industry is mainly limited to Walt Disney Animation, Pixar, DreamWorks Animation, Sony Pictures Animation, Illumination, Cartoon Network Studios, and Nickelodeon Animation Studios? Because of the free market and the fact that those companies completely crush any competition from minor animation studios. Again, sure, there are occasional successes from minor animation studios like Laika, and it is true that internet animation has found some notable success too. But in general, most mainstream animation projects come from those studios I mentioned before. And of course, when a business becomes super successful, money is something that many businesses feel inclined to make more of to keep their success and continue competing in the market. And this can often lead to companies making questionable decisions for the sake of money. Whether it's screwing over a show that's not doing very well, or making a spin-off of a super successful show, possibly against late creators' wishes, or shutting down one of their less successful subsidiaries. If these companies feel like these decisions will genuinely bring them the most profit, regardless of any subjective morality of these things, they'll do them. This is actually why I said in that live stream that if you're a complete laissez-faire capitalist, you're more likely to defend or excuse bad business decisions, because you believe companies should be run however the business people there want them to be run, and claiming that they shouldn't screw over shows or creators or shut down one of their subsidiaries is potentially hindering economic prosperity, and they should have the right to run their company literally however they want. Socialists are more likely to side with the worker over the owner. In the case of animation studios, the creative people are the workers and the business executives are the owners. It's the reverse case for capitalists. A complete laissez-faire capitalist might be tempted to say, hey, who are you to say Nickelodeon shouldn't treat their Nicktoons the way they do? They're a business. Stop meddling and let them run themselves however they want. If doing what they currently do gets them more money, then it's a good thing. Stop trying to introduce needless regulations, Stalin. And of course, this has definitely led many people to accuse capitalism of perpetuating greed and selfishness and that we'd be better off living in a more regulated economy. It's certainly far from the first time I've ever heard people becoming anti-capitalist or socialist because of capitalist greed. That's another example of the Greenblatt effect. It's certainly understandable that many people become opposed to corporations due to the perception of them being greedy and evil and whatever, but what a lot of people don't realize is that they themselves benefit from the free market system. If you really want a world where all companies have more equal ground, you should be supporting small businesses more. Do your shopping somewhere that's not Walmart, Target, Best Buy, or Kroger. Next time you buy something online, buy it on an online store that's not Amazon or eBay. Heck, you're watching this video on YouTube, which has absolutely dominated the market on video sharing. If you hate the free market so much, don't be watching YouTube, go support Vimeo or Dailymotion. Go watch shows on smaller, obscure streaming services instead of Netflix, Hulu, or Disney+. We're all victims of the free market in some way or another, and only supporting the less popular businesses is incredibly hard. People only feel this way because of a few examples of bad business decisions. But like I said in my video about why networks screw over shows last year, you need to look at both sides of the issue. Now, what about me? Where exactly do I stand in all of this? Well, as someone who is slightly more left-leaning when it comes to economics and in support of higher taxes on the rich and an increased minimum wage, I definitely do believe that businesses should try to not be too greedy and should try to show some human decency in their business decisions. But I also don't believe that they should be altruistic 100% of the time. And I've said this before, both in my Why Networks Screw Over Shows video and the live stream, but the idea of absolute equal treatment of all shows on a network or all subsidiaries of a company, regardless of their popularity, profitability, that's not an ideology that I support at all. My advice for anyone who does feel bummed out or disappointed whenever certain studios get closed for profit or other sleazy business decisions like that happen is to remember that even though these companies that make products that you love, they're not your friends. They're businesses who at the end of the day are aiming to make money. Don't take it too personally whenever a company makes an unpopular, sleazy business decision. And Blue Sky shutting down doesn't mean their movies are being erased from existence. You can still watch them. Try to look on the positive side of things and don't wallow in disappointment due to one decision you didn't like. The animation industry is a tough one to work in, and unpopular, greedy business decisions are inevitable. It's like a carnival. It seems like harmless fun on the surface, but there's a lot of sleaziness and unpleasantness underneath. Disney is not the wonderful, magical place people think it is, at least in terms of their business side. Try not to be fooled that if you're either currently working in the business or interested in doing so, be prepared to accept any worst case scenario, but also try not to let the downsides get to you too much. And if you are being severely mistreated by the executives, speak out. That's the only way you can hope to make change. Who knows, maybe in a Bernie Sanders socialist economy with 30 different animation studios all roughly equal in popularity and heavy regulations on how they're run, maybe animation will prosper. Maybe the free market and capitalism really is keeping us down. But it's the world we live in and you aren't going to drastically change the economy overnight. But what do you think on this topic? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to debate with anyone who disagrees. And if you have studied marketing, businesses, or economics, feel free to let me know if what I said holds true. Most of what I said in this video is based on my personal opinion and conjecture, so who knows, I could be totally wrong. Thanks for watching everyone, and, well, even though the shutdown of Blue Sky is likely going to cost a lot of people their jobs, at least they're not going to be working on any more Ice Age sequels. I guess you gotta take your wins where you can.